What's up everyone, I'm Jazz, this is Endless Road and welcome to another video, and we're back on the scooter again. If you haven't seen any of the scooter videos before, basically, short story, bought an absolute nail, didn't realise it was. It's called what is known as a rear bodge, because that's where the most of them come from. They just bodge them up, put a fresh lick of paint over all the filler work that's in them, and yeah, sell them to unsuspecting people who think they're good. So yeah, I got tucked up with that. There we are, no point crying about it now. The last video we cut out all this section because it was absolutely knackered, and yeah, basically none of that in there is worth anything. So we gotta make another one. So first thing, we're just gonna dive right into it. I think first thing I gotta do is just double check no more metal has got to be cut off it. So I'm gonna get the belt sander and wire wheel now and clean up all the surfaces that hopefully will be welding too. Obviously if it's whatever I grind and wire wheel is still knackered, then I have to cut more off. Do that first, and then I'm going to make a template out of cardboard of roughly the shape I need, and then obviously then we transfer that to steel. Let's go! Wire wheel wasn't doing a lot here, so I had to break out the bigger guns. Flip it heck. I should have done the thumbnail same as the last scooter one. It's gotta get worse before it gets better. All this area is actually 3 skins there, both sides. You got the outer one. This tunnel bit makes the inner one. No, the center one, and then the inner one is part of, I think, that panel that's in there. Yeah, and sod's law, the one that's in the center was the worst. Typical! So you got to cut away the outer and the inner just to be able to see how far the rot goes into the middle one, huh? And to be able to weld something new into it. So yeah, I think I've got everything now. All the rest of the metal cleaned up pretty well. It's all solid. Good thing is, because it's 1960s metal, it is pretty thick compared to like what's on certain, say for example, Japanese cars these days. So after a bit of grinding, even though there was quite a bit of surface rust, there is a nice thickness of steel left behind, shall we say. So yeah, like I said, we gotta make a bit by there now, and I've made the start of a template, which is there. So obviously it's like that. It won't be straight edges like that, it'll all be nice and curved. So we gotta cut that out. Well, we gotta transfer that onto steel now and then cut it out. But it's gotta be a bit bigger than that to accommodate for the lips we've cut off as well. I wanna try and put them into it, so I won't draw along the 2 outer edges. I'll make them a bit longer, and then we can weld it in and trim off the excess. Who am I? Just put it down, stop being a dick. Small problem, I don't have a large enough piece of metal to do what I just said with the template, well, making it a bit longer than the cardboard. And I don't even have one big enough for the actual cardboard. So apart from this one, And do you recognise the colour of this? It's actually the one of the rear window panels out of the Traffic, which I cut out to put the glass in. So yeah, we can see graphics on there. So I'll get rid of them. But yeah, waste not, want not. We'll use this. We'll recycle this into the flipping scooter. So I've drawn around it, as you can see, just with a little Sharpie marker pen. As I did say, I'm gonna leave these outer pieces on there. I'll cut that bit out there first and this bit off the end, and then fold it as best I can, and then see how much of this I need to be left on. I probably should have neatened up the area before I made the flipping template, and then the template would have been a simpler shape. Interesting story about these tin snips. I've had these since, when was 9/11? 2001, wasn't it? That's when I started my first ever body shop job, and I don't know where I got these from. I think I just bought a box of tools off someone. God knows how old they were before that. I've never sharpened them, and they still cut really good. And when I had my first job, funny story, I was a young whippersnapper at the time, and a lad from the next door's workshop used to come in, and because he was like probably about a foot taller than me and about 3 foot wider than me as well, he thought he could come in and bully me while I was working away. And after a couple of days of that, I had had enough of it, and I was actually using these at the time to cut some mesh to put into a bumper, like a body kit or something. And I don't know what he did, he punched me in the arm or something, and I said, right, I'm warning you now, do that again and you're fucking having it. And what did he do? He did it again, and I had these in my hand, so I cracked him on the elbow with it, and yeah, hit him. I put a fair bit of force into it, and off he ran out crying, and I think he had to go to hospital then. God knows what I did to his elbow, but he had his, he was either in a cast or a sling or something. Did he do it again though? No, he didn't. I'd probably get done for GBH nowadays. I've got that clamped to my bench now, so I've lined up the bench with my bend line, so we're just going to bend it now. Obviously, to bend metal, it would be better to put it into a sheet metal bender thing, but I don't want a really sharp edge to it. I want it more curved. So that's got a bit of a nice curve on it now. Obviously it needs to be bent a little bit more. Not sure if I can do the other one now though. How am I going to do the other one? Like that. I think that'll do enough to get me started, I think. Right, I've gone pretty much as far as I can go now before we start doing some welding. I've cut the panel out of some used steel. I've bared all the edges, ready for welding, including on the new bit as well. Because it's a bit of a difficult shape, I can't really get it to the shape that I need it without tacking it on one end first. So yeah, I can't really do any more now until that happens. I can tack that end onto there, and then I can bugger about hammering it to shape and trimming it so that it's the right length to fit this end in. Yeah, it ends up just keep falling on the floor while I'm working on it, so it's doing my head in a bit. And now we have some tacks, so we can hammer it to shape and get it fully welded. Just look right at that then. Just look right at that.
That's good for your eyes, it is.
Yeah.
I've seen videos like on Instagram where people have like, they're welding through a camera. Or they took on the iPhone in a mask instead.
I used to follow this woman on Instagram just because she was fit, really, and she's turned into a right psycho, saying you should spend X amount of minutes a day looking directly at the sun.
What?
And everyone in the comments was like, "What are you on about, you flipping nutter?"
You crazy broad.
Seam welded that on now, so I can grind that flat and apply the zinc primer. Right, we got the main tunnel in, and I folded over the edge to give us our lip. It's too big at the moment.
That's what she said.
It does have to be trimmed down to that size. But that can be done at any time, and I've even done where this part of it continues on and then just for some reason ends there. I copied it from the piece we cut out, and then obviously this is too big at the moment. That's got to be trimmed down to the same size as that bit. They got to be then welded to each other. Should be a spot weld, but I'll just drill a hole and plug weld it. These bits by here and here can be, we make a piece to go in them, and then it's just the 4 plates on the back end. I'm probably going to put some kind of extra brace in here because obviously where we've cut this, although it's been welded, I don't think it's like a broken bone in it. It's never going to be as strong as what it was before. So yeah, I am getting my thinking cap on how to make that a bit stronger, even if something got to go over this side to brace it up. I don't care. So yeah, that's it. It all needs to have a little bit of a hammer and dolly as well, because although it's pretty good, it's a tiny bit out of shape. It's a bit more rounded than it should be in places. But yeah, I think it turned out well, and I'm gonna leave the flipping sign writing that's inside, just because it's funny. You might not think it is, but fuck it. Right, I've done a bit of cutting and grinding, and yeah, cut some more metal off. These 2 areas either side there, I've made the plates for them now, so they're ready to weld in. And I can't remember if I said or not, but this area is 3 skins. And obviously by here you normally have the engine mount that you can put the big bolt through. Well, because this isn't having any kind of Vespa engine put back into it, it's having this Suzuki engine put in it, then, well, it ain't mounting to that, so theoretically we don't need it. So I've cut them off, and I'm just going to replace the inner skin, which is part of this one. So we need a piece of metal going from there to about here, just a bit of right angle. That will be that bit kind of finished then, and then once I have bought this repair panel here, I'll have to make a bit to just continue it on for the outer skin as well, and then it's pretty much ready for the where's it? The leg shield to go on, the new one, which just gets spot welded all along here. Yeah, so not much left to do really to get that leg shield on. And one final thing I'm gonna do just before that gets welded on is, well, if you see by here now, I've got it just perched on my step up, and I've got the engine, so I'm not gonna say mocked up, but just underneath it, just to get a feel for it. So what we're probably gonna do is, by there, that's where one of the mounts are. That's gonna be my main engine mount. So that's kind of where I want the wheel. So we're gonna have to have some kind of metalwork going from there over to here. If you imagine that engine is up there, like, you know, metalwork is gonna have to come from there to about there in order for it to bolt in. So what I'm thinking is, like I use this old roof rack pieces to brace the front end on, use some more of it and weld it in there, something like that, one each side. Not this one because it's bent. Yeah, the mount for the Bergman engine is going to be roughly the center of where the original engine used to be, there or thereabouts. So obviously the original mount for the original engine is nowhere near. So we need to have something going that way. So I think if I weld two of these in, obviously I can't measure it precisely yet where it's got to be, and it'll be a different width to whatever's on the engine there. But at least then something can be made to bolt onto these, or weld on, or whatever, to then take the engine. And I think if I have it running the length of this, that's going to be much stronger than just welding something by there to go that way. That's going to be quite weak, I reckon. So not only will it be strong for the engine, it's also going to stiffen the frame up as well. And it'd be like, what do they call it, cantilever effect, is it? I don't know. I might be chatting absolute bollocks there, but just making it up as I go along, really. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to weld them in there because I've just been stood here looking at it for 5 minutes, and I don't think I'll, if they were in there, I don't think I'd end up getting the engine in. With that, but obviously that bodywork needs to be cut away for the engine to go in, but even with what is going to remain, with these sticking out, if they were welded in, I don't think you'd get the engine in then. So I think it would be better if these were like welded together with some sort of braces connecting the two, and then that gets bolted to the engine, and then once the leg shield is on, this, whatever flipping shape it's gonna end up, would then get bolted to the bottom, and that will strengthen it up, and then it also makes it removable and allows the engine to get in there. So I think that's best. So whether I weld in some more supports in here now, I don't know. I'll stand here for another 5 minutes and figure that out. I'm not going to bother with any more braces in there. I've decided against it. The only one I might do, well, I'm thinking I'm going to do, is one going across here. One, because obviously it's all been cut apart and things are normally weaker then, like when you break a bone. And two, because it's having a bigger engine. I don't know how fast that engine is, but it's probably got a bit more torque than the 150 that it had in it. So obviously you need to strengthen things up. What I've done is just mocked up the leg shield on there for now. It doesn't fit the best, if I'm honest. The angles are a little bit different. I don't even know whether it is for this scooter, but it's going on it. Let me tell you. So I think what I'm gonna do is drill holes, work my way down, because the gaps are all over the place. So I'm gonna start up here so it kind of like pulls itself inwards, to then figure out if the plates I've made for the missing lips for all this section, if they're still the right size or not. And then if they're not, then I can alter them before Luke comes over to weld it. Because it would be a bit of a pain in the ass to weld them on and then go to put the leg shield on and then realise it's all to shit. Right, let's try the top one. I've measured it. It appears to be the same measurement both sides. Hopefully. Right, let's do the other side. Got that screwed on some shape. It fits nice up here now, but it's not meant. In fact, I think it is sitting too low, so the bend by here is actually kind of in the wrong place, and also the cutout, because this panel can't go any further up because you'd lose this. Well, not only the hole, but it's been folded in to create like a swage line around there, and it can't go any further up. Because looking at another scooter I got here, this bit lines up with the top of this swage line, so you can see this is a little bit too down, and then because of that we got a gap at the bottom. So yeah, the whole thing needs to go up, but it can't really because of this curve. So I think I'm just going to leave it where it is. I don't mind that slightly out of line there, and I think it would be easier to fuck about with this curve by this bend, getting it to line up with this, rather than, you know, destroying this curve by here and having a load of filler by here. Much nicer if you got having to hammer this curve and having to put some body filler in there. So that's what I'm going to do. Bit of zinc primer on here before it gets welded on, although I've ran out of my flipping favourite one. As you can see there, we've jumped forward a few steps, and the reason for that is because Luke was a little bit pushed for time today, so he couldn't be waiting for me to say, hang on a minute, I need to video this bit now. So I didn't upset him, didn't get in his way too much, and just let him crack on. So we've got the leg shield on now, and so obviously those little pieces that I cut for the lips, they've all been done as well. That one there, and the same one that side, and then a little bit at the front there, and one that side as well. And then yeah, we plug welded the entire leg shield on then, most of it from this side. But then where we put the new pieces in for the lips, cut the holes ready in them to do plug welds, and then welded them from this side. I'm not sure what happens when it rains or the floor's wet and you get water going down there, where it goes, because I can't really see any drain holes. But yeah, I'm going to squirt a load of cavity wax down there anyway to, you know, help with it not rusting again. One of the things I noticed as well is really weird with this new leg shield is obviously it's been in a guy's shed for God knows how long, and I think it must have been covered up with some kind of polythene. And have you ever seen when they do custom painting, they lash like a colour on there, and before it goes off you get a load of like cling film, screw it up and dab it all over it, and it creates like a marble effect. Well, that's what happened with this leg shield, except the moisture must have got into the polythene and then has rusted in the shape of where the polythene was touching the metal. So there's all crazy patterns like etched into the steel, which then I had to grind off then. But yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. It was really weird. So anyway, that's all gone. It's been zinc primed. So the last thing to do, once we ground down the plug welds, and I don't know why they don't include it on the flipping new panel to begin with, is to put this bit on. And so that's a separate piece. And obviously that's been pressed out of a sheet of metal. Well, this area isn't totally flat. It's got a bit of a curve to it. Yet when they make that, they make it flat. And once that's been pressed into it, that's super strong. So how the hell are you meant to flipping curve that then to this shape? If you got any tips on that, then tell me, although it's too late now, because the only thing we could figure out to do was to cut like a relief into it right there, so then it could bend. So I need to grind that back, and it'll probably end up having a bit of body filler on it. And also it had massive lips on the side of it.
No, 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 I love my husband. You've got me all wrong.
We couldn't decide whether to weld it at the end of them, and then it'd be like a little step up or something, or cut them off and we just welded it around where we cut it off then. I was just thinking now whether or not you were meant to cut that area out of it, of the leg shield, and weld that in first. That could have been a possibility. I didn't think of that. But anyway, it's flipping on now anyway. So the only last thing to do is weld the bit, that's where the horn goes, isn't it? So that's got to go on there. He's at the go now. He's got other commitments, so he's going to come back in a couple of days time, and I mean it's only, 10 spot welds, and then we got to across the top there where it meets that one, it needs a seam weld across there as well. That's the front done then, apart from grinding down the rest of the welds. So yeah, it's looking like a scooter again now, sort of. So it shouldn't be too long now before we can get the front half in primer, in epoxy primer. So yeah, if this is the first of my scooter videos you're watching, I'm just going to leave the back end for now, because I just want to take it to a show with some artwork on the front. Bit arse backwards, I know, but I haven't got a scooter to take to the show I've got in June. So that's what I'm doing it for. Yeah, any input you can think of, pop it in the comments. Any questions you got, pop them in there as well. Hope you liked watching it, hope you enjoyed it. Click on the subscribe button as per usual. Yeah, can't wait to get it done now. Catch you in the next one.